This week on Horror Movie Night, we watched Odd Thomas. At the top of the graph of who hates this movie is me, with a boiling white-hot rage. In the middle is Adam, who thinks this movie may have given him whiplash.
And I'm thinking of suing.
And third is Scott, who just thinks that this movie is a wet fart. With us today is Justin, who picked this movie. Justin, what the fuck, dude?
Wah. You guys watch such bullshit each week, and then you complain about what I pick.
Dude,
Why don't you go watch freaking Alligator again?
Alligator, I would watch 3 times in a row before
That's
ever watching it.
because you have horrible taste, man.
No, I'm pretty sure that 3-on-1, 2 times in a row.
Have you seen me? I'm at least 3 people, dude.
And I still stand by the 33% on Rotten Tomatoes versus the 50-something% on Alligator is in my favor on this one.
Just say for a second that Dean Koontz wrote this story, and I've read more than my fair share of Dean Koontz in my life, and he sucks. So it was doomed from the beginning.
To be fair, every adaptation of a Dean Koontz book put to screen is pretty much a piece of shit. So
It's less of a piece of shit perspective-wise, or like percentage-wise, than Stephen King stuff put to screen. But that's because Stephen King stuff is actually good. So there's.
I've not read virtually any Dean Koontz other than like 1 or 2 books, so I can't debate it.
You're not missing anything. Seriously, it is garbage.
I read this book.
So, fun Dean Koontz fact relating to one of my old picks from many, many eons ago. Dean Koontz wrote the novelization for Funhouse.
Yes, he did, and it's fucking garbage too.
It's really bad. Like, way worse than the movie Funhouse.
Well, how are you going to take a shitty movie and turn it into a good book, though? Like, it doesn't work either way.
I still love
I don't know,
Funhouse.
they did it with The Exorcist.
That's true.
Or no, not
And
The
Jaws.
Exorcist. I'm sorry, no, the other way around. Not The Exorcist. I was thinking
Jaws
Amityville Horror.
Revenge.
No, Amityville Horror.
You ever read the book for Jaws of Revenge, though? It's fantastic.
No, but I read your St. Mort blog about you reading the adaptation more than once.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Odd Thomas. So, Odd Thomas can see dead people, and he uses this power to find and capture and sometimes kill bad people. And we discover this right off the bat when he just kind of stops a dude in his car. And apparently this dude was like a former wrestler, because being smashed through tables and TV sets has fucking no effect on him whatsoever as a human being. And
yeah, he sees the ghost of a little girl. The little girl leads him to her killer. He chases the killer down, catches him, and hands him into the police. Now, if that sounds like the entire plot of the movie to you, you're wrong. It's just the first 45 seconds.
And in those 45 seconds, I already had a note written down that just says, I feel like I've seen all of this before. And as the movie continued, I realized why that was. This movie
has no original plot at all.
This movie is like if somebody sat down and they watched Frighteners, Brick, and Dead Like Me all at once and was like, I could make all of those at the same time. And no, you can't. No, those are not things that you combine into one movie. It's not a good idea. So a couple of his friends know about his secret, including a detective who's played by Willem Dafoe, while others just kind of assume that he has some type of gift.
Also, how did Willem Dafoe get wrangled into this piece of shit?
I don't know. Have you seen Boondock Saints?
He basically plays the same character.
Yeah, he plays the exact same character from Boondock Saints, just not gay. Like, that's the only difference.
Yeah.
Dude, if Willem Dafoe had dressed up like a woman and snuck into the mall at the end of this movie to help Odd, that would have been fucking amazing.
That would have been pretty incredible.
My opinion, this movie would change dramatically if that happened. So,
dude, no, it wouldn't, because there'd be so many asswipes on the internet who would just be re-quoting Boondock Saints, and we just got past that stage. So let's not rile that neckbeard crowd up, all right?
Okay, so Odd has a dream where a group of faceless people wearing bowling shirts are being shot at while screaming for help. And one of his friends, I believe her name is V, confesses to having a weird dream where she's shot to pieces by someone wearing a bowling shirt, which makes Odd conclude that this is not just your ordinary dream. It is also, at this point, fairly early in the movie. This is, again, 5 minutes into the movie, 5-10 minutes in the movie, that I've already written down the note Stormy and Odd's relationship is unbearable.
Yeah, oh God.
It's,
It was like a teenager. No, let's say a sophomore in high school wrote their characterizations and then how they interact, and then like rewrote it. Was like, no, that's too mature.
it is so. It's like so fucking obnoxious. Like every time that the two of them were telling each other how much they loved each other, I wanted to throw my laptop against a wall. I was so annoyed by every sentence that poured out of their fucking mouths.
You guys do realize I'm taking notes on right now on all the things that piss you off the most, just so I can pick the best thing next time. So,
all right.
Just so
well,
you know.
You know, maybe next time we just won't give you a pick.
No. I really do want you.
Anyone. This is horror movie night.
If you can top this, then I would be impressed.
If he can top this plus horns, because like really, this combo is so fucking infuriating.
Okay, so Odd has psychic magnetism. Sure.
Odd has whatever ability he needs to have in the scene as it calls for.
It's called exposition, all right?
All right, so he has whatever. That introduces him to Fungus Bob Robertson, which Odd breaks into his house, finds newspaper clippings of mass murders, as well as a blank calendar page for the next day. And that's when Odd realizes that Bob is planning some type of massacre in less than 24 hours. And that's appropriate because this movie feels like it's been on for 24 hours as is. But again, we're only at about the 20-minute mark of this thing. The police can't find anything on Fungus Bob. They trust that Odd knows what he's talking about. Then Fungus Bob tracks down Stormy and Odd when they're on a picnic and tries to attack them. Odd and Stormy then go to a bowling alley where they find a bunch of people wearing the same bowling shirts as Odd's dream, but Odd does not believe that the massacre is going to happen there. But regardless, they ask a cop to stay there. And this is where I wrote two different notes. The first note said, this movie thinks that it's funnier and smarter than it actually is. And then I wrote, what's that tattoo mean? It's just this new metal band from Southtown.
We are the youth of the nation.
Can we talk about how shitty that tattoo is, by the way? Like, I want POD on my arm, but can you put it in Times New Roman font? It's like...
I wish
fuck that old English bullshit. I want something.
I want the most boring. I want the most boring word tattoo ever. So Odd talks to V about her dream and realizes that this massacre is much bigger than a bowling alley. You know, like they already fucking established in the scene prior where he's like, it's not going to happen at this bowling alley. They hear a girl screaming for help, and she's chased by some dogs, and someone shoots and kills the dogs, but it's too late, and the girl's already dead. Then Odd comes home to find Fungus Bob's dead body, and seems like Odd is being framed for murder. He moves the body and concludes that Bob had been dead for a while, and that it was actually an angry ghost that attacked him and Stormy. Meanwhile, Willem Dafoe is shot, but he's not killed. Odd returns to Bob's house to find more information and finds evidence of explosives and body parts and fingers and tattoos matching the POD tattoo on the police officer's arm. And I also wrote this note of, well, now that I've got my fingerprints on everything, let me call the police about this guy that I've been repeatedly accusing of being a murderer. Odd arrives at a mall where two police officers, as well as the man who saved the girl, quote-unquote, from being attacked by dogs, are all in on planning this massacre. Odd manages to stop the shooter, get in a van full of explosives, and use it to kill the main officer. But sadly, he was not able to save Stormy, and informs her that she should pass on, but he will reunite with her one day, and then he travels to Las Vegas to clean up the city. And that's
is actually where John Dies at the End begins.
Basically.
It's funny that you, Justin, messaged Matt saying that it was like, it's a more tolerable movie if it's in the John Dies at the End universe, which I would say John Dies at the End is in the Phantasm universe. John Dies at the End is a great book and a mediocre movie at best, and this movie is just straight terrible. But I just think that it's funny to look at the stylistic similarities, and I just wanted to mention it here. And I'm done.
So I had a couple notes that I wrote down here beyond the ones that I read. One of them just is, this honestly might be one of the worst movies I watched in a long time, and I watched Liz and Dick this week. I'm actually thrilled that this movie was such a terrible flop. It only made $570,000 of its $27 million budget.
God damn.
Shit, really?
Yeah. But it also makes me sad because I think that the actor who plays Odd Thomas is a really solid actor and he doesn't get enough work, and that will continue as long as he keeps doing movies like Odd Thomas.
Not in this fucking movie. He's not. Not in this movie.
He was a large part of why I liked the movie, though, because I think even if the movie sucks, which I understand it sucks. No. There's two reasons. I'm going to say
there are two reasons. Addison Tomlin's left boob and right boob. We know.
That's not true, dude. That picture that I sent to like two of the three of you, it's not about her boobs.
Don't worry,
man. It's not about her boobs, man. It's not about her boobs.
Well, I mean,
but anyway,
she's pretty, but there is
she's
no
gorgeous.
saving this movie.
Gorgeous.
I don't give a shit. Okay, let's say on a scale from 1 to Addison Tomlin, how hot is your wife?
I'm not going to answer that on anything that's recorded, unless I want to
Hey,
personally, I'd say she is not even on that scale. She is beyond that scale.
Good try. The pause there says it all. You're fucked.
The director and writer of this movie was Steven Sommers, who has a mostly garbage track record as far as I'm concerned, with the exception of one masterpiece that we absolutely must discuss on Horror Movie Night one day. But most of his career was doing The Mummy and The Mummy Returns and The Scorpion King and Van Helsing and G.I. Joe Rise of the Cobra. But right smack in the middle is a masterpiece known as Deep Rising.
That movie's a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely, but I love it way more than Odd Thomas.
You know, I actually rewatched that, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago because monster movie.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, it is so bad. It's like every good part of Leviathan extrapolated into the worst fucking 2000 era, or was that 1998? Whenever that was
98. That was a big old 98.
Oh Christ!
I don't know. I like the one scene where the giant squid monster regurgitates a half-digested guy and he screams for help. That was pretty gnarly.
Justin, did you read this book?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I'd like to, if somebody can in the comments, remind, because I think there's one plot point, and I might be remembering it completely wrong, but I think it was that throughout the whole book, you're thinking that Fungus Bob is the killer. I mean, everything is really pointing towards him, and whatever. We didn't mention the Bodachs, but there's these things called the Bodachs that are constantly showing up wherever.
I kept forgetting to write them down in the notes, but yeah, the Bodachs are there too, being whatever.
Yeah, they are like a sign of, something catastrophic is going to happen. So, like, they're always around this guy and all this shit. I think if I remember it correctly in the book, the guy's not even part of the whole terrorist plot. He is just, like, obsessed with killers and mass murderers and stuff. And he kind of just, like, knows that something's going to go down. Or he just, like, wants to be there to, like, watch it happen. I forget. But in this movie, they make him, like, a central part of, like, he's a Satanist too, and they're all gonna do it. Blah.
Yeah, they've been friends since 14. I love the random fucking information at the end of the movie that Odd Thomas tells us, where I'm just like, how? Like, how do you know this? You blew up or murdered almost every single person that was involved with this giant scheme. So it's
not the dude that got hit in the mouth with the baseball bat. I guess that's the guy that confesses all of this information.
Yeah. Well, when we were 14, we started killing things.
And then we killed a man, and we realized, you know what? It was pretty fucking sweet. So we thought, yeah, we'll kill a whole mall full of people. They're just like, they're Satanists. That's why they're doing this.
They were in it for the fucking long con, too, because they were like, that's when we decided to become cops and build up trust in this town. I mean, if you really wanted to commit mass murder, kudos to the 10, 15 years of build up just to get through it. Fuck this movie.
Can I ask about another random, subplot? Why is it every single time that they call the captain or whatever the hell he is, the detective guy, he's about to get it on and then they interrupt him? Like, what's that about?
I feel like that was their idea of comedy while making the movie.
Yeah, it wasn't funny, but I was like, what the hell?
Nor was any line of dialogue that was supposed to be comedic.
Oh my god, there's one in here that was so fucking bad. It was like, he rolls up he rolls up Fungus Bob in that sheet, and then he
Oh,
goes,
God.
I'm either gonna get arrested for murder or for rolling the biggest joint ever.
And it was at that point when I was like, man, I need to put on Revenge of the Nerds. I haven't watched that in a while.
That's a great movie. Can we agree about that?
Yeah, no, I think we can all agree that Revenge of the Nerds is the best.
Stark contrast to this stinking pile of work.
It's the best pro-rape movie that's ever been made.
Wait, even better than Rape Squad?
Are you forgetting the Rape Squad? Yeah.
Future horror movie night pick, Rape Squad. Man, all of that hard work that we did with those numbers on Dr. Giggles will just plummet.
What we need to do is get SoundCloud to push Rape Squad.
We'll get even more comments and just say, what the fuck is this shit?
You're like, so I'm going to be like, this has another name. It goes by Active Vengeance. And we'll be like, no, you're not allowed to use that. You have to use it. We can't.
Oh, shit. All right. So, Justin, did you come to the table with some stuff? We keep interrupting you.
Not really. I basically, my notes, and to be fair, it's not a good movie. I just enjoy it. And I'll be the first to admit it's not a good movie. But I think Anton Yelchin actually has a great performance. I think he's a great actor. Yeah, honestly.
I think he has the best performance in this movie, but this is far from the best performance in his career.
Oh, that's true.
Now, I don't think that he has a good performance. He just has charisma and likability. But that end scene where he's saying goodbye to Stormy and there's no dialogue and they're both just staring at each other and weeping into the camera, fuck off. That was awful.
I forgot about that part. Hey, guys, spoiler alert. I haven't watched this movie in a year. I wasn't about to rewatch this garbage. I watched it on Netflix with the subtitles on, with no sound, and it was still annoying as piss. Oh, man, I forgot about that end part. I mean, I feel like somebody was like, some poor sap got paid like $9 an hour to like cut an onion underneath everybody's mouths and just like, don't cry, but just stare at the camera and don't blink. And that's how they got that scene to work, because I could not have cared less about anybody in this movie. Like, I knew that it was all going to be like looking at her having sex with her ghost and everything like that at the end. I mean, I knew that she died. Come on.
There's everything in this movie is like so hyper telegraphed to the audience of what the twists and turns are that it's like unbelievable. Like,
dude, I can imagine M. Night just sitting in the audience when this came out in the theaters being like, oh, why didn't I think of this?
Because I can't think of a more obvious red herring than Fungus Bob. Like,
yeah, and you know what else? I'm pretty sure Fungus Bob is the same character as the guy at the beginning of John Dice at the End, who's like, that's the axe that killed me. It's like the same fucking character with the same dead eyes and stubble. I don't know.
That ending with the girl was like, well, we know where this is going. And like the fucking cop with the POD tattoo. Like, why would there ever be a reason to draw attention to this tattoo that has not had any attention drawn to it up until this point? We're 45 fucking minutes into the movie. And it's like, well, we don't know where the massacre is going to happen, and we think that the red herring's going to do it. And it's like, hey, cop, what's up with that tattoo? And his non-convincing, shady answer where it's like, oh, so he's the guy.
Well, there's also the scene right before, like, the action scene. No, right before the dogs and the chick, where they're, like, riding on their scooter, and she's like, Odd, quick, pull over to the side of the road so I can tell you how much I love you. And I'm like, you're gonna die! You're definitely gonna die.
And then, like, I don't know. And then the second that she stood up and there was no, like, she said or did nothing, because that fucking chatty Cathy never shuts her goddamn mouth, I'm like, well, she's a ghost. Like,
she was a much better character when she didn't speak. I have to say.
Yeah.
Whoa, God. Not acceptable. We can talk about all the strippers and porn stars dying in Piranha 3D, but that crossed the line.
Oh, God.
all right.
Hey, let's talk about a better movie that we discussed last week.
All right, so Adam, do you have
What?
any notes for us?
I do. We better get into these so we can hurry up and stop talking about this fucking movie.
Because I got some shit I need to talk about that I watched this week.
I have 2 notes within the first 45 seconds. Holy fucking shit, movie. Please slow down. And they just crammed an entire movie's worth of plot into 45 seconds. Jesus Christ. We hit the 3-minute and 12-second mark of this movie, and I hate it. I already hate it, like, a lot. I really don't like anything that's going on here. Knows parkour, Andy Kondo, he's a boxer, he's got everything going for him. They're running through this like pool party, and everything is just getting smashed to pieces. And I was like, wow, every piece of furniture in this place is brittle, like a cracker. Dried blood on it. Some of the dialogue in this movie is just so bad. Holy shit. Oh yeah, that's what this movie needs. A character who's a manic pixie dream girl. Thanks.
I'm surprised that Matt didn't love this movie because it had his favorite trope in it.
I like that trope maybe 4 or 5 movies, but I am even infuriated by most maxi whatever, fucking pixie girls.
Maxi pick girls?
Maxi pick girls.
Girls who do pictures.
How
for
many beers
maxi
did you
packs.
drink before this? Like 1?
No. Just drunk on rage.
Do you guys know what Bodachs stands for? Because it's big old dick and cock kissers. That's what that stands for. That's how bored I was when I was watching this movie. Okay, so just everybody in this town has supernatural capabilities because that black girl's having dreams. Stormy always knows when to call when something bad's going on. Odd has every power that you can imagine ever. And everyone's so quirky, too. We're all so quirky in this town. Everybody's got a little something about them. So, exposition. The exposition movie about exposition. It never stops. I mean, it was like Anton Yelchin didn't take a fucking breath this entire movie because he had to explain everything that was about to happen.
What he explained was probably a better movie than what we watched.
Yeah, probably. If they had put Anton Yelchin in a dark room with a fucking camcorder and he just explained the plot of this book, it would have been a better movie.
It's a live action book on tape. He's literally just sitting in a chair reading it to you.
Adam, how many more notes do you have? I need to know if I need to go refill my bourbon.
You got time. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got another 10 pages or so of notes.
All right.
Every girl in this town is just dying for a length of Odd's cock. Every woman that gets near him, like, hitting on him or is, like, kind of into him and is like, so how's things going with Stormy? Is your relationship maybe a bit stormy with her? Huh? Why did Patton Oswalt make this goddamn cameo? Why? Why did he do that to you?
He has no scruples when it comes to cameos, and I love it. This is also probably around the time when he was doing like cameos in Supernatural. So
I'm fairly convinced that he agrees to do cameos in movies just so he has shit to make fun of in his stand-up.
That's it's exactly what it is. You're so smart. Good job.
So some of the dialogue is so seriously cringe-inducing. It was like I could feel the cringe washing over me like a wave that would engulf the universe. That's how that cringe felt to me. Bullshit fucking dialogue in this movie. Odd's powers are just ever changing. Now he has like super detective skills where he has like fucking photographic memory and he can like zoom in on stuff that happened earlier in the movie and shit. It was like, oh my god. Stormy gives love.
You're so upset by that. You're like, oh, it's really ruined my night.
Well, he's like, I can see dead people. Oh, and I have visions about the future. Oh, and I can like relive past events and notice details I didn't earlier. Oh, and I also have psychic magnetism.
That's annoying power, for sure.
Stormy stops the movie and gives a speech about love at a left field. Dude, you're so fucking dead. Oh, Scott's favorite scene of the movie is the chick comes running through the scrapyard and her tits are slow motion, bouncing up and down.
My favorite? You should look in the mirror, bro. I know you.
Yeah, that was my favorite part too. Willem Dafoe wishes that his character died so that he didn't have to be in this movie anymore. Okay, I don't remember what the exact line of dialogue, but Stormy was pretty much like, well, you can't blame me. I'm a woman. That was like a portrait. He's like, listen, Stormy, I think everyone in this specific place is about to die, so don't be there. And she's like, Odd, I'm a woman. I'm not going to listen. Bye. And just rides away. I'm like, oh my God.
She's such a turd.
Honestly, I mean, we're all like, we know that she died, but we were all hoping she was dead after that ice cream shot got shot up. I know that I was.
Also, how the fuck old is everybody who like they're like, oh, I mean, Adam, you can speak to this because you actually put yourself through reading that piece of shit book. But how old is everybody supposed to be if she's working in an ice cream shop?
They're pretty young. I think they're like 20, maybe.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that ice cream shop is a legitimate job for a 20-year-old. Maybe it's me being a prick, but I don't know. It really took me out of the story.
Oh, okay. When he gets out of the hospital, the entire town is there, and they're all holding signs for him. There's like a big hero's welcome parade. I was like, what the shit is this? What the fuck, man?
It's like the scene in goddamn Big Fish when he returns to the weird town.
God. By the way, that movie's not nearly as good as I used to think it is.
So Odd is definitely having a bunch of ghost sex at the end of this movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Another question about the ghost sex. Aren't ghosts not supposed to be able to touch people? So, like, is he having ghost sex? Like,
No,
is he
he's
really-
just awkwardly jerking off in front of his girlfriend's ghost.
Well,
That sounds a little bit like your sex life, Matt.
It's like, yeah, baby.
Let me feed you this ice cream, and instead I'm actually pouring it all over my pubes.
God, with all the scenes where Odd flashes back to what was really going on, why couldn't we have had that shit? It's just a whole sequence of all this shit.
That would have been legitimately laughing. Fucking stroking it with ice cream all over the pubes. Like the ultimate cry right there.
You're just tearing up because you like those sheets. They're never going to be clean.
Let's be fair, they're already probably pretty sticky anyway.
So another thing about the ghost sex, if he is able to touch her, do you think if he's on top, it just looks like he's like floating on a cushion of air? Also, one more thing about the ghost sex. Do you think when
People
he
are gonna
finishes,
think there were 12.
do you think that when he finishes, it just like shoots across the room? Or just, like...
Dude, I'm gonna get real gross here for a second, but what do you think?
You
Does
once
she
came
leave
in your own
ectoplasm?
eye, so you can't really shock us with anything.
You know, we're gonna have to go through all the horror club shit to find that reference.
Yeah,
Because we're doing
it's
retroactive
ancient.
episodes, but I don't even remember when that was.
No, me neither. I think no. You know what it was? You told us off air, and then we just made an offhand comment about it. So we've never even like told people the story. We just keep referencing this time.
Good, 'cause it didn't fucking happen. Can't prove anything. Listen, so ghost sex. Do you think that like there's
Don't
plasma
change
on
the
the dick?
I actually had one more question about the ghost. Do you think there's any cleanup involved?
God damn, you and I are the same person. Oh. I just imagine
Okay.
he like gets up and it looks like he got slimed just from his belly button to his knees. It's like, oh, that was good, Stormy. Thanks so much. Dude,
I can
that was
honestly
so-
say I did not think about any of this.
So this takes place
Oh,
in the same
God.
as John Guys at the end, Phantasm, and Ghostbusters. All right. We got it.
Don
Okay.
is gonna have a field day with this fucking podcast. Oh man, listen. So this is what I think: is that Stormy went to Vegas because he had already like been to New York and he didn't want to talk about that because he found Slimer, got the sloppiest blowjob ever, and then was like, you know what? I can't really top this. Better go to fucking Vegas.
Oh,
Your
my
dog
God.
did
My
not
dog's
approve of that
upset.
joke.
Hold on. I have to abandon. Some people just came to my house. I'm running into another room.
Ask them their opinions of ghost
Help.
sex.
No, I am definitely not. I'm glad I have headphones on right now. That's all I have to say.
I bet that you're probably not as glad for not having any pants on because you've been
No.
jacking off to Addison Tomlin's ghost sex for the last fucking 15 minutes of this conversation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That does conclude the 5 notes that I had about Ghost. Okay, and then it's the very end of the movie, and holy shit, it feels like we have to put up with 45 minutes of this, like, every character reunites at the end, and they have this long goodbye, cry into the camera, turn into butterflies, and everybody hug fucking ending. It's just cringy. And then, of course, Odd is going to monologue at the end, and I think everybody at home should take out their pens and notepads as well, so that he can espouse a little life lesson to you, because he's very philosophical in this movie. He's teaching us a lot about life. Anyways, I was done, and I was like reading through my notes, and I realized that I hadn't made any notes at all about like the big action set piece at the end of the movie. And I'm like, and I'm also not going to make any notes for it now because I literally don't care about anything that happened with that shit.
All right. Well, Justin, thank you for picking this movie.
Sure.
Do you
This
have
turned out so much better than I could have expected. Like, seriously. Oh, man. I ectoplasmed on myself, actually.
Do you have anything that you'd like to plug or promote?
Yeah, actually, I have a podcast called The Farsighted and a website called The Farsighted, which is at farsightedblog.com. I actually, this last week, I got to speak to Greg Antonito of the Bouncing Souls and Mike Park. So that was a pretty awesome time for me. They were two of like my idols growing up. So
Did you finally get an answer of why every single Bouncing Soul song sounds the exact fucking same?
Because they're all awesome and you suck. So.
God, they're the Bouncing Souls, all right? Nobody can beat them. They drink beer and they wear Adidas. Back off.
It's fucking hot.
That was pretty good until you like forgot the end of that line, but that was pretty awesome. So anyway.
Yeah, I did. Well, you know what? I don't have Sheena here to lean on, so what do you want from me?
Hey, there you go.
I think I heard one of their songs on the radio.
Yeah, you probably did. That's all I have to plug.
Did you watch anything besides Odd Thomas this week? We'll start with you on the what did we watch this week?
I watched Hell Comes to Frogtown this week just to honor Roddy Piper. It was awesome, as it always is.
It's a good movie. I mean, it's No They Live, but it is still a good movie.
Oh, no, it's No They Live, but I've literally watched that, I think, like a dozen times over the last year, so I think I'm good with that one.
They Live doesn't have the Dance of the Three Snakes, bro.
It's true. And I also watched Big Trouble in Little China for the first time. I don't know why the hell it took me 33 years of my life to watch that movie. So
my favorite John Carpenter film.
It's amazing. All
right, how about Adam? What did you watch this week?
I watched the end of The Daily Show. Well, of Jon Stewart's run on The Daily Show, which means the end of The Daily Show, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to be watching anymore. It was. Did anybody watch it?
I did not.
No. Did anybody watch when Stephen Colbert finished his show or whatever?
I watched the clip of him singing "We'll Meet Again."
Yeah. Somehow this was more toned down than the end of Stephen Colbert's, actually. It was a little weird. They just closed out with, I think it was a Bruce Springsteen song, and then it was over. I watched the newest episode of Rick and Morty, and I'm a man, I will admit, it made me tear up at the end. It was a bleak fucking episode. Like, as bleak as that show's ever gone. It really hit close to home. It was a hard watch. But, I don't know. That's still only episode 3, I believe, so they've got another 8 episodes to go. I'm excited to watch the rest of that.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, I watched some stupid shit this week. I am slogging my way through the Slumber Party Massacre trilogy. The first one is not as good as I remember from jacking off furiously to it in high school.
The movie really finds its footing in the second film.
Yeah, which I have never seen beyond. I believe, is that the one where they have their garage band practice in the first 5 minutes or so?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked to watch that. It's going to be good. And then, I watched The Return of Swamp Thing on your non-suggestion. It was bad.
Are you going to watch everything that we tell you is shit and tell you not to watch it? You're just going to go out and...
Yeah,
Return of
Friends for?
I will at least defend Return of Swamp Thing for being very aware of what it is.
Right, but it's so over-the-top aware of what it's doing that it is garbage. I watched Monkey Shines for next week, and I can't wait to just be incredibly effusive about that film. And I watched something else. Oh, I watched American Hustle.
How was that? I still haven't seen it.
Dumb as shit.
Okay.
But it's basically like a bunch of really awesome actors ad-libbing. It's got Christian Bale with a huge gut, and so the first thing you see is him with a huge gut and terrible comb-over, and so the second thing I hear after he starts with his internal monologue is Megan sitting next to me going, "Oh my God, he's gonna die. He treats his body like total shit," which is true. So Christian Bale, if you're listening, fingers crossed, because we've already done 3,000 listens on Dr. Giggles, so this has to reach his ears at some point. Christian Bale, you can stay skinny. You don't have to keep gaining weight and losing it for movies. Amy Adams' side boob is everywhere, chewing scenes in American Hustle, looking fantastic. She is a great actress. Second best role that she's done aside from Enchanted. Then we have Bradley Cooper with a Jerry curl. No joke. Second best role he's had to his character in Wet Hot American Summer. And then it's got Hawkeye.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Forget Jennifer Lawrence. She just plays psycho girlfriend like she does in everything. And then it's got
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeremy Renner Jeremy Dahmer as the mayor of New York City. Finally, that Avenger got the respect that he finally deserved. So that's American Hustle for you.
That's the Avenger that deserves the least amount of respect.
Dude, you don't love watching the Hunger Games along with Iron Man?
Yeah, I guess. I'm so happy that they mixed in Bow Hunter, like Cabela's hunting experience with my fucking comic book movie.
So that's enough of the bullshit I watched.
So I watched Night Flyer, which turns out I've actually already seen Night Flyer like halfway through it. I was like, wait, I have seen this.
I don't hate that movie. It's good.
It's not bad at all. I completely forgot that it was something that had passed my eyes previously, so I was like, oh shit, I have seen this. I grabbed Monkey Shine because I saw that it was on sale and figured why not. But I also grabbed the Tales from the Crypt / Vaults of Horror double feature. They're both British anthology films from the 70s. They're both pretty good. Tales from the Crypt was a little bit better, but definitely nothing worth more than like one or two viewings of. But I just wanted to give that a quick shout out. Now to the two things that were really worthy of watching. I watched Gnaw, The Food of the Gods 2, which...
It's on my list, by the way.
Which
Going along with my plan to watch everything you watch.
Okay, so this is one of those movies, it was made in like the late 80s, early 90s, but it still uses that 1950s version of like, we've got giant rats by just having actual sized rats in like really small locations.
So it's kind of like Flowers for Algernon.
Yeah, it's fucking bad. And the best scene in the movie, so the Food of the Gods is that they find a way to make food and it's supposed to make the food bigger so they can feed third world countries. But what they find out is that if you eat the food, you also grow to ginormous sizes. And there is a scene where a dude has a dream that he's banging a chick and like he's rubbing her hair and his hand keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then she starts screaming and he's ginormous and she's just on him and she looks like the size of a normal dick compared to the rest of his body. It's the most awkward fucking thing I've ever seen in a movie. I could not believe it. Like, I'm like, where's this going? Like, I'm watching as the scene progresses, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And then last night, I watched Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-orama. Stars Linnea Quigley.
Yep.
And it's about three geeks who are trying to peek in on a sorority hazing, and they get caught. And those three geeks and two pledges are told that they must break into a bowling alley and steal something from it, and they accidentally break open a trophy in which unleashes an evil imp who makes them have random fantasy scenes, not unlike Waxwork, where they imagine themselves in different famous horror scenes. But the most impressive thing about this movie is that it is one of the early films of a director whose name I can't totally pronounce, but he is the director of Puppet Master 3, Toulon's Revenge.
Yes!
And he also made such classic pieces of cinema as The Brotherhood 2, Leeches, and one of my personal favorite movies, A Talking Cat, which might still be on Netflix, and if it is, you should definitely take some time to watch A Talking Cat.
This guy went from Toulon's Revenge to A Talking Cat.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What a bummer.
And somewhere in the middle of that transition was Hansel and Gretel, Warriors of Witchcraft.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Hey, let's remember though.
Let's remember the
that
good times.
we watched. Let's remember the fact that when we actually did watch and discuss Toulon's Revenge, which will be a retroactive episode very soon, we all agreed that it's not a great film.
No,
so
he's
it's
not...
not that big of a surprise that he went from bad movie to really shitty movie.
Yep, no, that's about right. Also, Scott, thank you for tracking down those photos.
Yeah, I just sent the guys the dude banging the chick as he's getting bigger, and there is some quality side boobs and some really bad hair.
Why does it look like they're doing it in like a laboratory? Or something?
Because
Why is she doing it on a bed of?
Because he's a scientist having a wet dream.
Listen, I'm a vegan and I have never fucked anything on a bed of spinach. That should say something to you.
All right, that was Odd Thomas. Next week, we're going to be talking about Monkey Shines, as picked by our good friend from the Reddit Horror Club days, Plymouth. I don't know if she's actually going to appear on the episode, because she never appears on any of the episodes, but
I'd love it if you could, Plymouth.
We would definitely like to talk Monkey Shines with you. Just a reminder, you can always keep in touch with us on our Facebook page, following us on our SoundCloud page, subscribing, and rating on our iTunes, and, sending us some emails at hmnpodcast@gmail.com. And we are going to try something new coming up soon. We want you, the listeners, not the people who are active on the Reddit Horror page, but the other listeners who hate Reddit, as you probably should, because it's a fairly garbage site. Email us movies that you want us to review, and we'll pick a couple of those as well and mix them in to the podcast and have some fun. So send some movie picks to hmnpodcast.com or podcast@gmail.com.
Yes, it's we're gonna have the new round coming up. We need to fill up 10 slots, so there's definitely plenty open. It's, yeah. Oh, you guys are fucking 3-year-olds. Whatever, shut up.
So
also, you didn't ask anybody the most important question. People, please send us a list of who you want to be slimed by. Who are the sexiest ghosts?
Yes, who are the sexiest ghosts to have an Odd Thomas style love relationship with? Let us know at hmnpodcast@gmail.com.
Dibs on Martha Washington.
If you've ever had sex with a ghost and can answer the many questions that we had regarding how that works, we really appreciate it.
Ray Stans, we're waiting on your phone call.
Fuck. Discussing all those Stephen King collections a while ago, we were talking about the Langoliers, and this ties back into our discussion of Odd Thomas. What if they made a porn version of the Langoliers and called it the Bangoliers?
Oh, I thought for sure you were going Wangoliers.
You want me to keep that in there, Scott?
I
could put that as a bumper at the end or something.
I would like to point out that there's an 8-year-old blind girl in that movie.
The Night Flyer does not discriminate.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.